check it out. I waited for sunshine, and it looks like it's, you know, in the video it looks like it's just barely moving, but it actually is moving very powerfully. It's a nice little breeze coming off of this thing. And here's the other one. Try to turn to see so you can see that it is actually moving very fast. It's kind of weird because you're looking at it from in the video. I'm looking at it through the video camera like this, and it looks like it's not even moving. But if I actually look at it, you can't see any of the blades. They're moving that fast. So anyway, but the thing about it is that unless it's in direct sunlight, it stops. It has to be like directly shining on the panel. And then these parts are like ridiculously flimsy. Oh, you know, I've dropped, I think, this one here like about 3 or 4 times this morning. This part came loose. The top came loose. The whole head came off of this part here. But it keeps running, so that's all I really care about. Anyway, I'm gonna take this outside, put it in the greenhouse, see where I can put them. I'm just glad they work. So it snowed last night, and usually when it's like the first kind of snow like this, chickens are like, I'm not going out there in that. But I decided that I was gonna just go ahead and give them a little bird seed. I've been doing that anyway. I give them bird seed first thing in the morning, whereas normally I would give it to them like in the middle of the day, like sometime after 2 o'clock or so. But since the days are so short and they could use the extra calories, I just give it to them in the morning. Anyway, so then I was thinking this morning, hey, you know, if I, you know, because I noticed that if you give them bird seed, they go straight for that, rather than eating the food that I give them every day, you know, like the kitchen scraps and whatnot. But anyway, they're like so happy to have the bird seed and whenever they get it, so they'll eat that first. And sure enough, I opened the coop and they came straight out. Whereas any other time in past winters, you know, it snows and they get nervous, they get spooked, and they just will stay in there, just kind of perched on that, like this one here. She's freaking out a little bit. But anyway, they come out. They came out, and so this is gonna be my little trick for the winter. And so anyway, it's only like a mere inch or 2. I don't think it was more than 2 inches that fell. I showed you my little fans. Now let's close the gate first. I showed you my little fans that I was gonna put into the greenhouse. So it's not too bad in here. Actually, need a thermometer. I haven't got a thermometer yet. It's the second year, but anyway, spinach is looking good. The spinach is looking fine. And this lettuce is looking pretty good, considering that we've had some really good, really good cold weather. So here's my little fan, number 1, number 2. See, this one here keeps losing its cover. Like I said, this thing is kind of flimsy. I'm not too worried about it, but let's try this again. So, I'm not even sure how I'm gonna do this, but I'm thinking that, oh Lord, I'm thinking it doesn't really matter where the fans are located. Oh, that's a good spot. It's immediately working. Alright, let's try and do this. Oh, okay. You could do it that way too. I guess as long as the sun is shining on it. I don't know where I'm going to put the second one. Oh, I guess I'll just stick it right here on this other. Okay, I guess that works. Alright, so the reason why you need ventilation in the greenhouse, working well. So the reason why you need fans in the greenhouse, as tiny as these are, I don't know if they're gonna really be that effective, but the reason why you need a fan is because you want the air to circulate. If you don't want to let the air circulate, then, you know, the humidity gets a little bit stagnant and it settles on the leaves and they become moldy. Because you want humidity, obviously, but I think that the part that goes wrong is when the air just stagnates. If it stagnates, then that's obviously a very bad thing. Anyway, but you know, at this time it's really not that big a deal because it's very cold. So the stagnating air is not too much of a problem. And I think that these fans, because they're so small, you know, they're not gonna like really cause a big chill in here. Still have my cabbages. Everything is kind of like at a standstill, you know. Things that are frost tolerance, they're not growing anymore, but they are kind of not really hibernating, but they're just at a standstill basically. You know, I planted these back in, I think it was October. They grew a little bit, but they didn't get too big. Got some turmeric. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I think that the roots are frozen and they may be, you know, like the ginger, I may have lost my opportunity with that. I dug up the ginger because I really use that a lot, but turmeric I don't really use that as much, so I'm not too upset about that. There's more spinach. That's doing well. This is a microgreens mix, which I never did harvest, but they're doing okay. I mean, they're kind of waiting for me, and this lettuce is half doing fine and half of it is frozen. So, you know, this lettuce is doing good. And I even have a little flower here, my little dianthus. This thing is very frost hardy. Does very well. And hey, look, guys, I have peas back here. These are the Austrian peas. they're not necessarily good for making peas. They're supposed to be good for the supposed to be. I guess they're like made. They're bred for winter, for eating the leaves in the winter. Not so much for the peas for eating. The peas are not necessarily that desirable, but the leaves are good. So maybe I'll come out here again later on and collect some of these things. This is Claytonia and some mosh, more Claytonia, and this lettuce is doing pretty good, but it's not really ready to eat. I mean, I could eat it, but I don't want to eat it like that. So anyway, so that's the story with the greenhouse. It's not much to report, as I said before. It's kind of cold and everything is either dead or dormant, or yeah, dead or dormant. These carnation plants are doing well. They're not dying in any case. Strawberries and oregano doing good. Strawberries. This is some lemongrass that I foolishly allowed to get frozen. I think this is good and dead, but we'll see in the spring. And back there, there's I don't know if you can see, there's one of those big water, what do you call it? Water, it's a water jug. What do you call it? Water cooler. It's a water cooler jug. I had intended to put water in there and allow it to be like a heat sink. But I think that you need the heat sink needs to be in direct sunlight. It needs to be getting sunlight, and it should be black in order for it to really be working at its best capacity. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure if I want to go through all that, dig it out of that corner and paint it black, fill it with water. I'm just not into it right now. You know, because of last year's experience with the greenhouse, I hesitate to get very excited about doing anything in January, because we still have plenty of winter left, and I don't want to plant a bunch of stuff and then it just freezes to death, like the peanuts last year. What else did I plant? I planted lettuce last year, and it froze. I don't know why this spinach and lettuce in here is doing well. It's kind of remarkable to me, but maybe it hasn't been that cold. I don't think it's as cold as last year. And then I'm exploring the idea of making some kind of a solar heater. I don't know, you may have seen people making like a solar heater, like with cans. You paint the cans black and you enclose them in an insulated wooden box that's painted black as well. And then you face it to the sun, and then there's a fan inside on the back of the box that blows the warm air out of the box into the greenhouse. You could put that on your home. I kind of want to make one of those. I don't know. Yeah, I have the supplies. I guess I need to buy the paint, but not really. I also have paint. I have some acrylic paint, which I really don't want to use for that, because it's expensive. I'd rather use cheap, like, spray paint or something. Anyway, so that's kind of what I'm pondering now. Yeah, so that's basically it. I'm not really doing much with the greenhouse. Like I said before, I really am not into doing anything. This is the longest I've been out in the garden, in the yard, for weeks now. It's been many weeks since I've been out here this long. It's kind of fun, I must admit, but it is cold. It's still, I think it's got to be like in the mid-30s outside. It's probably like, you know, maybe 40 in here. and I'm not wearing the proper shoes. And then I also got, when I put some, I gave the chicken some fresh water, and I got, yikes, I got, I got water on my socks, so my feet are wet. I'm starting to feel cold.